Alright, good afternoon. This is a live severe weather brief. Good evening, everybody. This is a live severe weather briefing. I am Vice Forecaster JD Rapp back with you in the Breaking Weather Center. We've been having some warnings this evening for different places. And a few hours ago, we had a couple tornado warnings, and now we're continuing to track these storms in West Memphis and Tennessee, exiting the area. So let's go right to Storm Commander, and I'm going to give you a few reports just came in down here in parts of Spring Creek. This is down here in Madison, Tennessee. We had trees across Highway 70, excuse me, in Spring Creek. So now we're starting to get reports of trees coming down. We had more reports of trees fell on a home and power is out. So we're just starting to get some wind damage, and this is what we thought we'll have. A couple spin up tornadoes, maybe some wind damage, stuff like that could be in the biggest thing. But the main threat is when we start getting wind damage like this is coming in, where we could start seeing 1,000 several trees coming down. That is a problem when we start having that. That's where you get some damage and straight line winds, and that could cause a problem too. So if you just joined me about midnight, almost 11:37, we've been having storms developing. Severe thunderstorm warning for western Lewis County and Mint, Tennessee, Wayne County and Mint, Tennessee, Perry County and Mint, Tennessee to midnight. At 11:24 Eastern Daylight Time, a severe thunderstorm located along the line extending from 7 miles south of Eastonville to 7 miles southeast of Strandley, moving around 40 miles an hour. Hazard 60 miles of wind gusts. So that's going to be the biggest concern, with some damage and straight line winds. That is my biggest issue. When you get winds are going to blow straight, that is going to tear things up. We could have some wind damage, maybe even a brief tornado or two. It's not out of the question. That's why we were kind of watching this for some spin ups along this area. And I'll switch back just in a second, but I'm starting to get another report of a tree fell on a home and the power's out. But this is weather velocities, and look at this. Goodness gracious. Folks, I'll tell you why I say that. Because once we start getting up to the so this would be 60 knots to 70 knots. So this would be probably some strong damage and straight line winds. So Marshall County and Mid Tennessee, South Central Marshall County, South Central Floyd County and Mid Tennessee, South Central Ware County and Mid Tennessee, Coffee County in Tennessee, Beatford County and Tennessee, and Cannon counties, and to midnight. 11:25 Eastern Daylight Time. This is the thunderstorm located along the line from Murfreesboro to Shelbyville to Carsonville, moving at southeast around 45 miles an hour. So this is booking at 45. Excuse me. 60 miles of wind gusts with the storm. So if you live in any of these communities, definitely some damage and straight line winds are going to be the biggest threat. You feel threatened, take cover in a basement, small terry room on the lowest floor of a building. Now, you don't have to go hunkering down in no bathtub or anything. This would be the time where you would make sure you're away from all the windows. That's what I do in case a tree would collapse like that through your glass. That's where we lead to a lot of problems lately. Is trees going down a lot. We have the winds. You get a microburst in the atmosphere, or you get these downdrafts in the winds. I mean, that can just lead to these strong winds of collapsing like that. And I definitely want you to away from all the windows. So the severe thunderstorm wind goes through midnight. We decided to break in just for a minute because some of these storms have been doing some damage and have been producing brief tornadoes. And we want people in this area to be aware of that. So back to radar again. I'll animate things while we're on again. You're joining us, Illinois, you okay? If our Hamilton counties, White County, Harrisburg, Marion, Vienna, you guys are okay. Western Kentucky, you're about out of the clear. I won't roll out a strong storm or two. Could pop up later, but most likely it's pushing into Tennessee now. You can see a storm or two that could get to severe. This line is capable tonight of this little bowing, and I'll drill into it. Let me take the tracks off for a second. While we're on, just follow my cursor. My cursive here right quick. This little shape of the bow, and this is what all meteorologists, forecasters, spotters actually learn in spotting class. Anytime you get a bow shaping like this, a bow like that, anytime you get a bow, let me take the radar off here a minute. This type of a shape of a bowing, that indicates some damage in straight line winds. You can get a tornado that can spin up along those lines. I've seen it before. I've been a forecaster for several years in my life, and I've seen this happen. You get the winds blowing, you get a spin up tornado, and that's what you get. So definitely just pay attention. I mean, we would continue to keep you informed tonight. Let me put velocity back on. We're getting ready to sign off, but there is a little wind shear, so we could be getting another possible tornado down here. I mean, even if you don't get a tornado tonight, you could get some significant damage that could cause some problems. So we've been on for a little bit with you. Starting to get more reports of flash flooding and Pike. American Road is flooded. So if you don't have to travel on some of these roads, just do not, because some of these roads could be flooded. A couple of other storms over here is kind of concerned me here about Manila area. 1-inch hail with that. Let me check the hail potentially with our hail account we use. And we got a little bit of hail, but not a lot. You really want to get large hail with these storms and a lot of updrafts. But see, we just don't have that right now. So back out closely. Severe thunderstorm winds are continuing to about midnight. And we'll see what else happens. Spin-up tornadoes are not going to be out of the question. And this just tells you heavy rainfall has been passing the last couple hours. We've been having storms have been popping in. And that's what's going to continue. So we will continue to keep you updated. Just popping in just to let you know in case a lot of people are going to bed. And your weather radios in Tennessee are probably going off. This is the cause why we have the severe thunderstorm warning, is because that bow. Anytime you have a bow shape, that is indicate as some very strong to damage and straight line winds. That's why we're continuing to watch that. So we'll zoom in one more time. And check velocity. It still looks like it still has some sheared with it. So no concern of a tornado right now. We will keep you informed, and we'll break in if we have a life-threatening situation. Just make sure you have multiple warnings tonight. What would help you is if we have a weather radio. That's what I had. That cost you $29 to get one. Turn your TV up. Listen to your meteorologist or a forecaster there, because some of these storms have been producing some damage and straight line winds, and we want you to be safe. We'll be breaking in if we think there's anything else going on. For right now, we want to sign off here.